Should I do it?
You can do it. Let's hear it. Let's
At the end of my clothing.
Yeah.
For Jay Cutler.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with none other than Chris Bumstead, as he has been the talk of the town after this year's Miss Olympia when he made that announcement that he is going to be doing his men's open debut in Prague. So many fans are excited to see Chris Bumstead doing a side tricep in his recent YouTube video where he looks totally awesome, but somehow people have forgotten that cbum has done that side tricep pose on stage many times. But I do believe this is a pose that either looked the best on him at his first ever Miss Olympia back in 2017, or he was just hitting it differently back then. And let me also remind you guys that he also did a backlash spread back in 2017, which I am sure majority of the people do not remember. But this time we are talking about a physique that has transformed so much in the last 8 years or so, and the thickness in the side triceps pose, his shoulder to shoulder width, that just shows you how massive he is looking at the moment. Plus, cbum seems to be in a great condition at the moment, and that I have to say is a great call, that they aren't sacrificing too much of his sharpness, his dryness, and his conditioning just to appear a bit fuller on the stage, because that could have backfired as well. So this is most probably gonna be cbum's last time on a bodybuilding stage, so he will try and make a lot of great memories. So Jay Cutler's quad stomp at Miss Olympia 2009, that has to be one of the most iconic moments on the stage, and cbum is gonna try and duplicate that. So this whole story of cbum doing an open show, that started because he wanted to do that show just for fun, but the media and everyone has put a lot of pressure on him, and guys like Milos, Dennis James, they do believe that Martin-Fitzwater and cbum, they are gonna be the last two men standing at this year's Prague Pro stage. In fact, many experts have started to believe what Ian Valier has been saying all along, that this is going to be a much closer show between Martin and Chris Bumstead than what people are expecting.
I think he's going to give Martin hell. I don't know if he's going to beat Martin, but realistically, Steve Weinberger is a judge, and I still think the biggest difference from classic and open is 3D and 2D.
Thickness.
Yeah.
Now, I have got to say, even if Chris, he comes in second at this show, that means he will be beating a 2x 212 Olympia champion, Sean Herrera, and some other very great open bodybuilders. But do let me know what you guys think. I am glad to see that it wasn't just me who called out Rafael for not doing this upcoming Prague Pro. These guys on the Menace podcast also could not seem to understand why Rafael, who was getting compared against Chris Bumstead for so many years, he decided to skip this one when the opportunity was right there for him to grab. And this could have given a lot of exposure to Rafael, getting compared to cbum.
Rafael did not have a comparison with Martin at the Olympia. Here, he will have that comparison. Yeah. So how can you avoid that? I mean, that's your chance to be next to the top 4 in the world, and you are in the best shape of your life. You just won the show. What is rationale with that thinking? It blows my mind.
And even if we forget about Chris Bumstead for a second, because cbum isn't going to be there at the Olympia next year, while Rafael and his coach Neil Hill said that his physique at this year's Romania Pro, that was his best physique ever. It was the best combination of conditioning and size. So was he just so scared to lose to Martin-Fitzwater that he decided simply not to compete here? I mean, Martin is a top 4 guy in the world. How can Rafael miss this opportunity to get compared with one of the best bodybuilders in the world right now? Because I believe Rafael could have been the second highest placing guy at this Prague show after Martin. And this could have given these guys a lot of pointers on what to do for next year. And the fact is, it was just merely one more week of dieting. And the other thing that surprised most of us is that he's willing to do the Big Man Weekend, which is happening in December, a couple of weeks after Prague. And that was in case he lost to Kim Williams in Romania. So would really like to hear what Brazilian fans have to say about this. And the irony is that the bodybuilders have been complaining for the lack of enough prize money in all of these shows for years and years now. And now that the prize money have gone so up, they are refusing to show up at all these shows. Now let's talk about Martin-Fitzwater and the update he just put out a few hours ago. So after watching him do this real large spread And seeing those ripped hamstrings and glutes, less than 2 days out, he is gonna be on the money. In fact, Martin and his coach Stefan think that this is gonna be the best Martin ever. Now I know most of us think that there is just no way Martin is gonna lose to Chris Bumstead. But what if he isn't as good as he was at this past Miss Olympia? What if he misses his peak? Because the thing is, he is gonna be judged. And compared to his previous look, just like Hadi Choopan was, he was compared to his Arnold Ohio look. And so many people were disappointed that Hadi wasn't as good at this year's Miss Olympia as he was at this past Arnold. Now, I don't know how much of that influences the judges, but once you set a standard, and that to a very high standard, just like Martin did at his Olympia debut, either you beat that look, or at least duplicate that same look. Now, we know it all started with fun and jokes, but it is a bodybuilding show at the end of the day, and Martin is a fierce competitor, a guy who is saying he is going to be fighting for the Olympia title next year, so he is supposed to dominate this show. Next up, we have a 2 days out physique update from Andrea Presti. So this is the thickness that some, or I'm gonna say a lot of these men's open guys have, that all of these classic guys just cannot achieve. Now, I have no idea how people are just sleeping on a guy like Presti, who has placed second 3 times this year in the last 3 shows that he did. And let's not forget how well he compared against a guy like Hunter Labrada and also Samson Dauda in those 2 shows. Not saying that it was a close battle between these guys, but I think we can all agree Presti's upper body, that is insanely massive, and he is just so damn wide. And he will take a lot of space on the stage at this upcoming Prague Pro as well. And on top of that, we have to keep in mind, he is always one of the most ripped guy on the stage in any show that he enters. Now, I am pretty sure that Presti will go for this upcoming Big Man Weekend as well, which is happening 2 weeks after this year's Prague. So one of the most interesting thing at this year's Prague Pro is gonna be that, how well some of these open guys, like Andrea Presti, compare to a guy like Sean Calrida. Because whenever Sean's name come up, his fans are very quick to remind everyone that Sean was able to beat a guy like Regan Grimes and Sergio Oliva Jr. back in 2021. Now I have to mention 2 things. Sean's legs, they looked really great a few years back, and as of right now, based on his Olympia physique and all of his recent physique updates, his legs are looking kinda downsized, and there is also some disparity between his left and right leg. Plus, he is 2 years older, which makes him 42 years old, which is where most of these bodybuilders, they start to decline, especially when it comes to the volume of their legs. So does Horse MD fits anywhere in this equation for this upcoming Prague? Is he even close to being a threat to the top 3 here? His midsection is just way too wide. Plus, we have no idea how a bodybuilder who has such awesome quads, great arms, such impressive side legs, simply does not have a back at all. He is gonna lose the back double biceps against all of the top 5 guys in Prague. Now, I personally think he'll look better at his pro debut last year in Romania. I mean, the judges had him over Nathan Diesha, Andrea Presti, and Muhammad Fada. And that is from where all this hype started. But then again, I have to say, that judges just won't consider him for a top spot unless he brings up his back, and that too big time. So Horsemdi posted a full physique update, hitting all of the 8 mandatories. And all we can see is that he has some very outstanding body parts, but a lack of flow and the lack of aesthetics is certainly there. And he might get exposed even more when he stands next to all these aesthetic monsters, guys who are much more balanced than him. The hamstring drop in that side chest, that is insane. Conditioning also looks good for a few days out. And there is also some more news for you guys about Horsemdi. It turns out Milos did not pick him last week for Romania Pro, which simply means he's gonna do this peak by himself and his new coach. So do you guys have Horsemdi in your top 4? So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.